Hello, all you positive heads out there. It's so good to be back with all you beautiful reflections of the one source consciousness that creates and animates all things. If you're new to this podcast, of course, we're super happy to have you here. And if you've been listening and enjoying for a while, I would be super grateful if you would please take a moment to give us a review on Apple Podcasts. It's one of the best and simplest ways to pay it forward and help others find the show so that they too can tap into the powerful perspectives and positive vibrations we are collectively emanating. The other unique and magical way to share this show is by sending any friends you think would benefit from listening to this podcast our Game with the Universe link at positivehead.com/game. Also listed in the show notes, which will serve them up a quote-unquote random episode when they click it. Just instruct them before clicking the link to close their eyes for a moment and sincerely ask the universe to cue up the episode that contains the insight and perspectives that they most need to hear at this point in their life journey, and then click to listen to whatever episode is synchronistically served up to them. I have heard time and time again from people about the incredible results they received playing the game. So just tell your friends magical results are guaranteed or their karma back.
All right, all you positive heads, welcome one and all. I am very grateful that you've joined me on this magical today. And today is one of those extra especially magical days where I have my comrades with me, Tracie, Mahan, and Monica Dunn. Welcome, ladies. Thanks for joining me today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
I love having you guys. We always have the best conversations.
The best.
And we have fun.
Yes. That's it right there. That's the key, having fun. So, well, today we're going to talk about this time that we're in and how incredibly powerful it is, how transformational it is. This has been actually a big message that's coming through, that has been coming through for me personally. When I look around and get my messages from the universe, is this time of transformation and how we can walk ourselves through it with strength and grace. And so we thought we could chat a little bit about that today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sometimes we just get hit with life, don't we? And just, how are we going to get through it?
Yeah.
How are we respond? Yeah.
And in those times of transformation, things can get all mucky and messy, and it feels like the end, the absolute end. But the cycle continues, and there's something more beautiful on the other side.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I find that, oh, Tracie, go ahead.
Go ahead. Oh, I was just going to say, it reminds me of the saying, this too shall pass.
Mm-hmm.
And just like you're saying, how many times do we look back and all of the trials that we've had? And, we're always coming out better off at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Monica. Sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say that I think when a transformational or challenging time shows up, it's time for us to, our stuff is really coming to the surface to be released.
Mm-hmm.
It's really just bubbling up to the surface. I think of it like, when you're, I don't know if anyone has ever cooked beans from scratch, but the stuff floats to the top so that you can skim it off.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's like that. Things are bubbling up to the surface because they want to be released. And if we can just let them go instead of holding on to the old story, beliefs, that's what a transformation is calling us to.
Yes. And I love that, Monica, because do you want to keep that stuff in your beans, or do you want to let that go? Like, are your beans going to be tastier with that stuff or without that stuff? You can relate that to life and your emotional and mental systems, right?
Just makes me go, beans.
Beans.
Oh my goodness. I was thinking about, like the caterpillar phase of things where, we're in that list, but we turn to mush and goo and all the things and we've transformed from that caterpillar into the butterfly. you know, that's always happening for us here. We're always, okay, we transformed. And if it wasn't, we would get bored. I'll just say that we would be bored if this wasn't happening. So yeah, going through the pressure of life, all the metaphors,
Mm-hmm.
turning to diamond, all the goodies. So
Yeah, you don't get the diamond without the heat and without the pressure.
Yeah.
So
Right.
you don't get to turn into this beautiful, or you don't get to have the acknowledgement or the remembrance of it without going through some things.
Yeah.
Yeah, think about heartbreak. Like that's a perfect example, whether you lose someone through a breakup or they pass, or you know, like it's a heart opening. It's
Mhm.
meant to be a transformation.
Yeah.
And as painful as it can be, there's really a lot of room for coming out on the other side with just an open heart and, you know, more polished you. That, you know,
Well,
that
think
like,
about those heartbreaks like you're talking about, Monica. You know, when we go through those, we learn how much more worthy we are. I mean, I usually come out of that going, I deserve better than that. You know, and I start loving myself more and understanding that I'm worthy of being treated better than that, or whatever the scenario is. And granted, that's going to be a two-way street. The other person's going through their experiences too, but yeah, always coming out of it, you know, we heal some things, some old wounds, some old patterns, and then we get to move forward, and the void is filled with new friends and with new pathways, and usually those are better and more evolved.
Hopefully. Yeah. Because I was just thinking, you know, oftentimes when our heart breaks, you know, we always have a choice. I was talking about choice the other day on the show. And so there's two choices there. We could allow it to be a heart opening event, and that would be the most beneficial choice. Or we could allow it to be a heart closing event. And in that event, that makes our life a lot more difficult. And so in order to be able to recognize these things faster, if we could, to make life a little easier on ourselves, because it's like that stuff that you're supposed to spoon off and let go from the beans.
From the beans.
Mm-hmm. And have a
right.
different perspective of how is this helping me grow and learn and be stronger.
Right. And how, and really it's an opportunity to really look at your stuff and go, wow, what's coming up for me? And why is it coming up for me? And oh, why is this same thing coming up for me again?
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about
I
that
love
same
Monica.
thing coming up again and again.
Oh, why is that here again? I love that.
Yeah, because don't we experience that along the journey? It's like, wait a minute, I thought I healed that. I thought I took care of this.
Yeah.
Mhm. And here it is again.
But
And
look at how much faster you get through it, because now you recognize the signs, and you're not going to put yourself in the same vulnerable places with it. So
right. I remember when the first time this happened to me, and I'm very grateful that I had the awareness to recognize it at the time. Because at first I went through that process of like, for real, this is what we're doing again. Like I thought this was over. And then I realized, oh, okay, it's being put in my lap because it's still in there and I have more work to do. And it's important to do that work. And so here it is, right on your lap, making it extra uncomfortable. So deal with it. Get it off your lap. Yeah.
yeah, and it'll keep getting more and more uncomfortable if we try to avoid it, ignore it. If we don't look at it, it'll go away.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So we
just
think
bigger.
gets
Yep.
deeper and deeper and moves on to extra body parts.
Right. And like you were saying, it's a choice for a heart opening or a heart closing. And when we choose heart opening, it might feel more vulnerable and discomfort, you know, painful in the moment, but moving through that to the other side, you're not going to have to keep repeating it.
Yeah.
Where with the heart closing, you've just missed an opportunity.
Right.
And
And then it went to go get friends and come back.
yes.
Yeah, right. Well, that's what's interesting. It's like we close our hearts off to prevent that thing from happening again. But what in actuality, what we're doing is continuing that cycle and inviting that thing in again to help us learn. Because
Yeah.
that's the whole point. Yeah. What we do
Yeah.
to ourselves as humans baffles me constantly.
And
When-
really, when you think about it, you know, I mean, I'm just seeing a heart, right? And when you close it, you're adding another layer of armor. And so something's going to have to come in that's even stronger to get through that extra layer.
Yeah. I love that so much. That's such a good point. Even
So-
stronger, even harder the next time.
Mhm.
So it would behoove us all to really be introspective anytime we're triggered, anytime that things are getting messy or mucky or uncomfortable in our lives. Take a good look, learn the best thing, learn the lesson that to the best of our ability, and let it go and move on in a positive light.
And
Yeah.
when you can, try to recognize that it's an opportunity.
Mhm.
That is such a big thing. You know, we want to be in it. We want to be mad. We want to be, you know, foaming at the mouth or whatever. But if you step back and look at it, if you're like, okay, why is this showing up? What am I learning from it? Just like you said, Monica, great question. What am I learning?
Yeah.
And start looking at old behaviors, old reactions, new reactions, how you can show up differently and have a different outcome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oftentimes easier said than done.
Right. Like I said, if you can see it as an opportunity.
Right. But that's where I think it's important to take that time to ourselves, to sit in quiet contemplation, to sit in meditation, in reflection, to sit under a tree and just think about it for a minute, whatever the personal process may be. But just to take the time to get in there, because you won't find it by ignoring it, pushing it
Right.
away.
And then ask your higher self, or whatever, however you deem it appropriate to ask what is this opportunity for me to learn.
Mhm. Well, I like the question, why is this happening for me? You know,
Mm-hmm.
we love to
Yeah.
talk about that one on this show. Nothing's happening to us. It's all happening for us. So why exactly is this happening for me? And what am I supposed to be learning from it? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, and how many times have we been put in those positions where something is getting under our skin so much just to get us to move? Like when I had the day job that I hated, and every day I would, grudgingly go, and it just kept getting more and more miserable until finally it was like, I don't care if I lose everything. I can't be here anymore, and walk out. It's like, why did it take it getting to that point for me? Now in hindsight, seeing that, if I were put in that position again, I would hope, and I'm just going to say, let's not put me in that position again, but I would hope that I wouldn't tolerate the things I was tolerating before, and that I've learned so much from that, and how supported. That was a big leap of faith moment for me when I left the day job to do full-time energy, spiritual work, hypnosis, all the things. And it took me being so miserable there before I would leave. Spirit was probably like, what is happening here?
Yeah. Why do we have to make this so hard on you?
Why do we have to make it so hard? But then when I finally realized, well, this is what I need to be able to leave here, and that was the big question that was asked me. Well, what do you need in order to leave? And I was like, well, this, and this. And then within probably a couple of weeks, everything that I had said happened, and I was able to leave. And so I was so stuck in that mindset that I had to have that job in order to pay my bills, and I didn't. And it broke me of an old belief system, pulled me out of my box, showed me there's more possibilities, a better way to live, and a more exciting world out there than what I was living. And it took my leap of faith to get me there. But yeah, it took torture. It was torture.
And it's interesting. It's like, this is what you came here to do. And this was your soul's plan. So of course, the divine plan has this all aligned for you, but we humanly fight against it, thinking like, no, the story that I'm grown up with is true instead.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
it is pretty fascinating how simple it really can be, but we get very caught up in the fears that we've been taught and that we tell ourselves, you
yeah.
know,
Mhm.
because it is all
Yeah.
there for us, especially when you're following your purpose,
Mhm.
your soul plan.
Yeah, it can be
And
scary.
yeah, but that feels like happiness. It doesn't feel like hatred. So that job was
Right.
certainly not your soul plan. I have clients that
No.
come in and they're like, "Should I keep this job? I hate it." And I'm like, "Well, what do you think? You hate it. Does that sound like you should keep it?" And they're like, "No." Yeah, exactly. You already
Your
know.
answer was in your question.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's so clear, hindsight, so clear. And it's like, man, what would my life look like had I had listened the first time? I really was uncomfortable there.
Mm,
And but one, our higher selves are just going to keep pushing that button until we get it. We're not going to abandon ship and, oh, she didn't get it, let's move on. No, you're going to keep getting that message till you get it. And then it's what Julia calls the psychic 2x4, right? You get it hit hard, it's going to keep hitting and harder until you get it.
yeah.
You're so steeped in that discomfort that you're just going to have to do something about it.
Mhm.
So,
And I like what you said, Erica, about they say, "Oh, well, I hate my job. I wonder if I should keep it." And if we just listen to ourselves talk,
Yeah.
we could learn so much,
Yep.
because the things that come out of people's mouths, it's easier for us to hear it coming out of someone else's. I had a client yesterday who said, "Well, that's what my dad always said." And I said, "Oh, and yeah, so you're choosing that too. Why is that?"
Nice. Yeah. What did he say? Did he know?
"Oh, that was my dad's belief."
Mm,
yeah.
"Oh."
yeah. Revelation,
Mhm.
not mine.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he was almost 70
Mm,
when he
Yeah.
had this realization. So, like, it can happen at any time. And yeah, I mean, it's just great to have that, have that sounding board of, "Oh, really? Okay.
right.
What do
Yeah.
you think?"
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And I love that point too that you just made, that it can happen at any time. It doesn't matter when it happens,
No.
just as long as it does happen. Because then,
Right.
yeah, because then you fulfilled a purpose of this life by learning that lesson. And oftentimes maybe that was the purpose, to learn that lesson. Yeah.
Yeah.
So job well done. It doesn't matter how old you are.
Before we continue on with today's episode, for those of you interested in getting more fantastic fungi in your life, I want to take a quick moment to tell you about a friend of mine's brand new company, The Great Mother. Recently, I have been drinking The Great Mother's superfood mushroom coffee alternative called Ritual, as well as regularly taking their awesome Ally microdoses, and I am truly loving both. As you probably know, these days, many of the world's highest achievers and performers swear by microdosing. The problem is it can still be difficult to get a hold of magic mushrooms. That's why when my friend reached out, who lives in an area and country where legalization is not a problem like it was in the past, and said he'd be willing to offer microdoses to my listeners, I wanted to pass the word along. Ally microdoses are 100% organic. And in addition to a small amount of the magic active ingredient, they also contain functional mushrooms like lion's mane, cordyceps, chaga, and other brain boosters like bacopa. Ally is essentially a full spectrum nootropic. And of course, the coffee alternative Ritual doesn't contain magic mushrooms, but it has an array of the best organic functional mushrooms in the world. And, with functional mushrooms, it's really important to get them from the highest integrity sources. And whereas some other highly popular mushroom coffee alternatives on the market only contain a few varieties of functional mushrooms in their actual ingredients, Ritual has 7. Not only does it contain more types, it also contains 3 to 4 times the amount that the big brands have in each serving. And it tastes amazing. I actually like to have it on its own, as well as mixing it into my coffee sometimes as well. However, since this is definitely a unique offering, there are a few steps. First, just reach out and request to follow the private page, The Great @mother on Instagram. Once you've been accepted to follow, just message what you're interested in getting and someone will get back to you.
Yeah, because in the realms of spirit, there is no time. So we just put that on ourselves, and we have this idea that, oh, if I don't get it done by this time, but really that's just make believe. We just create that to create more dynamic tension sometimes.
Yeah. Well,
Very
and two, I think so many of us have grown up with, this is the only life we get. You got to do it now, get it all in. And once we understand that this is just a small little drop in the ocean of our entire experience, then it's a different understanding, a different perspective.
And I think we have to look at life like that, like take yourself out of the body and do that whole rise above it thing and get the bigger picture to help us understand that these are just moments in a much bigger moment. Our lives that we feel this longevity with, this years and years with, are just moments in eternity.
Yeah.
So yeah, the concept of time is such a crazy thing. And when we can move out of that, at least a little, because we're experiencing it, we're in a third dimension that deals with time and finances or monetary systems. So yeah, it's all there.
So another piece that fits into this is to always remember that from the higher perspective, there is no failure.
Right.
It's all about learning and growing. So just remember that even if you are learning this again, or this comes up again, like, don't be hard on yourself, because there really is no failure. There's no such thing. We just make it up. It's just an old story. And so, yes, you're learning this on a new level. Nothing wrong with that. It's great. Just ask yourself, what's my opportunity here? How is this for me?
We can't fail. Can't do it wrong. We might have to come
Everything's an
do it
experiment.
again.
Right. Yeah. But if we just think about everything as an experience, oh, I had that experience or that one, and it doesn't matter which way we go with it, we're going to have an experience.
Yeah.
So.
I think it's important to just be aware of our viewpoint and our perspective of that experience and try our best to think about it in a positive light. Think about what we can be grateful for about it, even if it was traumatic and very difficult. What has it built in you that you can be grateful for? Because there's something for sure. Always is.
Well said.
Well, speaking of all of this and how to forgive, how to let go, and moving into a new chapter, we are going to be doing a workshop on exactly this, diving into this even deeper and helping people to actually have these tools to do it, to actually do it, the how-tos, because we all talk about, oh, we have to forgive, we have to let go, but how do we actually do it? So we're going to get into that in a workshop on September 9th, the 3 of us. It's a 2-hour workshop. And I'm really excited about it.
And it's online, so anyone, anywhere can attend. And here's the other thing. If you can't attend it live, you could still sign up for it, and then you'll get the video copy of it afterwards. And this is the only time this event's going to be offered. It's not for sale afterwards. So if you think you want this this workshop, it would be sign up for it now, even if you can't do it right away. Or on the 9th live, you can still get it later.
This is one of those workshops too that you can even go back to in however amount of time and use the exercises to again, or hear the things again, use the tools again, because there's going to be things in life that come up. And you might need to, get in there again and figure some things out. So it's good to have a recording like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're going to have, this going to be a 2-hour workshop, everybody. And it's going to be 3 30-minute segments with 30 minutes each of us. And then we're going to open it up to questions and sharing. And that is it may seem like, oh, well, I don't know about that part. Well, tell you what, we get so much out of hearing someone else's experience or their question. What is it that they were struggling with? And then you're telling your story and somebody else is going, oh, I did get something. I had a similar experience. I didn't realize that's what was happening. And so that part is equally as important. So do please plan on staying for that part as well, and do the Q&A and the sharing with us, because you get so much out of that part as well.
I also do want to say, and I was reminded of it as you were talking about the three of us doing 30-minute segments, 30-minute segments. So all these threes, and this is actually going to be on, the 9th day of the month, on the ninth day of the 9th day of the month. So 9/9, which numerologically is a portal day, and 9/9 is a number for completion, for letting go. So we've picked the perfect day to do this workshop, and I love how the numbers are working out with all our threes going into the 9. Yeah, so this is just
so we're doing 90 minutes of lectures on the 9th month on the 9th day.
Oh, we're also starting at 3 p.m. Pacific. So
there's another 3. There are 3 of us. It's on and on and on. It's so divine.
So divine. It's so fun.
Triad. I love it. Yeah. 3s are such an important number. You all know the Nikola Tesla saying, if you understood the magic of the 3, 6, and the 9, you would understand the universe. Maybe it wasn't magic, but something like that.
Everything's magic in my world.
I know.
It's all magic.
Yeah, of course it is. All right, awesome. So we're going to put the link for that workshop down in the show notes below, so you guys can go and sign up there and check it out. We would love to see you. And anything else you guys want to say? Anything else at all before we head out?
I just want to say, be especially loving and gentle and kind to yourself today.
Very nice.
Thank you for that reminder, Monica. We need that reminder. I needed that reminder today. Thank you.
Someone needed it. And
it's more than just me.
You have my permission.
I love it.
I love that. Well, we love you all. Thank you, ladies, for being with me. We're going to play you a new song by Ayla Nario called Little Garden. Until next time, we love you all.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Breathe, everything's changing. Breathe, you are a leader in these times. Breathe, and all the ones around you, you remind them to breathe. Breathe, the spell's been broken. We've been running far too fast, too long. See, all life is calling out for a moment now to breathe. Listen to your heart, grow a little garden, feed the ones around you with your love. Listen to your heart, know that we are with Don't let the fear take you away. There's too much at stake. This is the path for which you were born. These are the times for which you were made. Don't let the fear take you away. There's too much at stake. This is the path for which you were born. So lay your body to the earth. Lay your mind down for a while. Find the space between. Breathe, your skies are clearing. Breathe.